Oi, oi, Cristiane here, and we are going to look into the great challenge today of experimenting with how to maneuver our way gracefully, calmly, with our center untouched, with stability. When what's being asked of us seems so outrageous, seems to just not fit at all. And we are going to do that by experimenting with Pavrita Ardha Chandrasana. So that's the pose where the whole body is open. You're just standing on one foot and touching one hand to the floor, and then you are revolving that pose. So it's extremely challenging. Some of you can do it. Most of you, I take, cannot quite feel stable and centered in a pose like that. That is certainly the case for me. So we are going to look at the earth element, the element that provides us with stability, the element that reminds us that there is a stable ground underneath all that seems so chaotic. And as we bring our attention to these characteristics of the earth element, these qualities that are in this elements, then we begin to find accessible ways to do what previously seemed impossible. So we are going to use some props to assist us in that process. Please don't shy away from that pose, because today you will find out that indeed you can do it. We're just going to do it in a different format. We're going to be kneeling while we revolve into this pose. We're going to be using the chair, perhaps if you have access to a chair. Blocks may also come in handy as we prepare for the practice, and definitely a strap. Even if you don't have your traditional strap with the two buckles, if you have some kind of strap to assist you in the process. So once you have all that, then I'm going to invite you to come down to the earth, lying on your back with the strap near. Maybe a blanket under the head if you feel that there's strain on the neck, but this may not be necessary, so just leave it to the side if so. Or you can just put a whole blanket underneath you so that you have more comfort. And then you can start by just like really honoring the ground beneath you and positioning and moving in the direction of lying down in a way that allows you to have more of the body touching the ground. So we'll start here on our forearms. We're actually going to lift the hips off of the ground and kind of just wiggle those hips side to side a little bit so that we can have the lumbar to be freed up just enough so that as you come back down, you have more of the sense of the earth underneath you. And notice that I still have my head lifted here, and you can use your hands to support in that, so that eventually when you do bring the head down, there's also more of the shoulders on the ground. So then from here, it may feel that you want to keep one leg bent like so, and then reach the opposite leg up, or you may feel that you can take one leg all the way down to the ground as you bring that other leg up. So that other leg is just up like so. You can kind of like wiggle it a little, shake it a little, just, like kind of let that leg do its thing for right now. Since we're experimenting with the earth element, there is more of a sense of structure, but sometimes before the structure, it's good just to kind of let things loose a little bit. So then we're going to take that strap and we're going to create a enough space to do this. Let me just tell you what we're going to do. We're going to place the strap at the ball of the foot, and then we're also going to place it at the calf. And then we're going to have enough space here for the hands so that the arms can just kind of like drop down. But then here's where we come in with the earth element. Not only do we have the resistance of the strap against the top of the foot to push the foot up against so as to engage more through the bones and the muscles of that leg. And also here behind the medius part of the calf muscle so that you can press the calf up against the strap, and then in turn use that resistance to expand further through the leg, to grow taller through the leg while keeping that connection to the earth as best you can. So leaving the right side of the hip down, the right side of the sacrum down as you lift that right leg up. So here you just breathe, make sure that there's no tension in the shoulders. The shoulders are just down, resting on the ground, as if the shoulders, the shoulder blades were like 2 feet just standing on the ground. And the arms, they can be released if you have the strap a little bit tighter and the arms are straight, that's fine. Just make sure you're not tensing up through the neck. The neck remains long here. And so again, you're pressing the foot up against the strap. You're pressing the calf out against the strap, so you have more resistance, more earth to work with. And then because of this earth, you can gain a greater sense of safety. Enough safety that the tendons, the ligaments can begin to release their grip, and you can discover more space in the body. So just breathing in this way. Make sure that that right hip is not creeping up, so you're encouraging that right hip to drop down, down, down towards the other foot. And you're encouraging that top foot again to lift. And just be aware of what's underneath you, supporting you. Supporting the head so that you can drop all the excess movement of the mind and the frontal lobes. You can just let it all go down, back to the back of the brain. Give yourselves a break from that thinking mind. Connecting more deeply with the breath. And then through this resistance of the leg, the thigh muscles, these quadriceps, these 4 muscles in the front of the thigh, they can engage a little bit more, they can hug a little bit more into the bone, and then you can feel even a greater lift coming up. And the bottom leg, if it is straight and down, then just make sure that it also is engaged equally as much as this top leg. So in Pavrita Ardha Chandrasana, the shape that we are moving towards is like you have the 2 legs in this way, right? Except that you are standing on this foot, this leg is hanging out back, and then you are twisting. And then so now let's go ahead and move in the direction of that twisting shape. Take your right arm out to the ground if you have the right leg up, otherwise do the reverse. And now bend your bottom leg if it's not already so, and then shift the hips just slightly to the right as you pivot the right leg all the way over to the left. Now here I'm resting my left elbow down. I know you cannot see that, but I'm using that ground also to support me so that I can press that leg once more against the resistance of the strap. And as I continue to press not just the calf against the resistance of the strap, but also the foot, so I'm elongating the leg and I'm sending it back. I'm creating more space here along the waistline. More space here along this, the lumbar spine, the right side of my lumbar spine, from the right side of the sacrum out through the pelvis. And that right shoulder, again, standing up. I mean, standing on the ground as if a foot. And of course, that may mean that you can't go as low with that right leg. That's fine. May also mean that you want to take some blankets underneath that right arm to feel that earth still underneath you. That's also fine. Keeping that left leg, the bottom leg, nice and strong as you revolve some more. And so notice here that as you come into this shape, that's very similar to the shape that we would be doing standing, like you would be standing on that right leg right now. You would be having the right arm down on the ground, and that left leg would be floating. The torso would be floating. The right arm would be reaching up. Just notice here how you can rely on the earth to allow for that twist. And that's really the invitation today, is how can you be centered when the world is shaky? How can you stand in stable ground when things seem so volatile or upside down? You access earth, its qualities. You invite that to come into your beingness, your psyche, your physical body. You experience it. All right, and then as you're ready, bend that bottom leg, bend that top leg, draw it in. Release the strap. Slowly find your hips back to a centered position. Bring the foot down. Just notice here how it feels. And if it's available to you, then go ahead and take both legs all the way down to the ground. And then just observe if there's a difference between the two sides. Notice, if so, what that feels like to you. It feels to me that the right side, especially from my waist down, is a lot closer to earth. And that's a good thing. Because when I'm agitated, the choices I make are not really moved by wisdom. But when I am grounded, then yes, they are. All right, so if you had both legs bent at first and just lift and then lift, or the right, if you had one leg bent at first, so I was lifting the other leg up, then you can do the same thing here on this side. If you feel that you needed to, if you feel that you could straighten that bottom leg all the way, then wonderful. Then let's go ahead and take that strap once more and place it so that it's right at the ball of your feet, because right, these are strong muscles. You can really press up against it. So with the leg bent, just go ahead and do that for now. Just press up against that. Feel that resistance and how much it just really awakens the muscles, like this femur bone. It's such a powerful, it's the strongest, biggest, longest bone in your body. Push it down into the pelvis so that you can feel more connected. And then again, place the other part of the strap in the meatiest part of your calf. And so that here, the arms are just kind of making sure that you don't have any tightness on your neck, the shoulders, again, stepping down like 2 feet. And then you press that calf muscle onto the strap as you resist the strap with your hands. And then you press the ball of your feet up of your foot, your left foot, up onto the strap as you press the strap down with your hands. So you are working the resistance of earth, of that which is the most stable of the elements, hardest of the most like hardy, weighty of the elements. And you are pressing up against it so that you can experience a release. A release of what? Tension, right? Because tension really robs us of our strength, right? We are strong when things can flow, move. When things are tense, we're trapped. We're less than what we are capable of. And so, again, resisting the calf with the strap, resisting at the area of the ball of the foot with the strap, and in this way, encouraging the leg to move back as you resist it with your hands forward, and to lift up as you resist it with the strap down. The thigh muscles utilize these muscles, the four strongest muscles in the body, really use them to assist in that connection to the earth element. And then making sure that that left hip is not creeping up, that it's lowering down. And then check in with that bottom leg too, like that calcaneus bone, the strongest bone in the body. Press it down, and as you press it down, you notice that the toes just move straight up. And as you feel that support of that which sustains you, holds you, allow your breath to deepen. Allow any agitation, any excess movement of the mind that may be right at the frontal lobes to drop back to the back of the skull. And let Mother Earth just absorb it all. She doesn't mind. She will do it gladly. Quite other things she minds. But she will take your excess so that you can be more yourself, and then in turn take better care of her. And as you're ready, we're going to do the Pavrita variation, bending that right leg, scooting the hip just a tiny bit, and then coming with that right leg over. Now again, the right elbow can rest down on the ground. The left shoulder, move it in the direction of the ground. Ideally, you keep it on the ground. And if not, it would be good to have the extra blankets that you got to assist you in the process of keeping as close to that which stabilizes you as possible, so that you can revolve more freely right from the center of the body. Here too, you're still pressing that foot out and the strap is resisting it. You're pressing that leg down and the strap is resisting it. And you're with your breath with ease. There's no tension in the eyes, in the jaw. Your face is expressing the joy of you carving out the space to take care of yourself. You may feel a little crackling in the lumbar. That's quite all right. So again, from the sacrum, that left side of the lumbar is expanding up towards the sky as the leg lengthens out. And now here, as you spread the left arm back, envision this shape. Those of you who know what Pavrita Ardha Chandrasana looks like, that you'd be standing on that left leg, and the right hand would also be on the ground instead of holding the strap, and everything else would be uplifted by the engagement of that right leg, of that left leg. But here instead you have the earth to support you in creating that shape, gift of the earth. And then as you're ready, you're going to bend that leg, draw it in, bring that bottom leg in as well. Just take a moment with both legs bent. Feeling the earth, feeling that support. And then once more, let's go ahead and straighten out both legs. And just notice, see if now both are closer to the ground, or just observe where it's at. Right? It depends, there's so many variables. Where are you coming from? What's happening in your body? Many of us, most of us, have two sides that are very distinct from one another. Surely is the case for me. So just observe the effects of what you just did. And then as you're ready, go ahead and roll onto the side, either side. And bring yourselves into a kneeling position. What we're going to do here is we're still going to use the strap, but a little bit later, so we can put that to the side for now. But let's go ahead and take our blanket, and if you have your blanket in this Tadasana shape, go ahead and open it up like so, and then fold it once more so that it's a little bit, and so if you bring it out to the mat, it's a little bit wider than the mat. And what we're going to do here, if you have blocks with you, bring them, place them out in front. I'll give you a few variations where the block may be an interesting way to, again, feel that earth, feel that support. So now here, hands underneath the shoulders. I should say really more wrists underneath the shoulders. And knees underneath the hips, okay? And then from here, I'm going to invite you to extend your left leg and your right arm out. I happen to have the chair right here. You don't need to have it there, but I'm just actually using that as a little bit more support. So then from here, we want to find the ground again, which is very limited now, right? We just really have literally through that left wrist and the right knee. So we have to engage the body in such a way as we did when we were lying down so that we can access more of the earth. The tops of the thighs engaged, pressing out through the ball of the foot as we did before. And then go ahead and bring it back. And now let's do the same thing with the other side. So reaching out through that right foot. If you happen to have a chair right there, great. Or maybe even a wall. That's another access, a way to access the earth element. Reaching out through the left arm. So here again, just the right hand and the left knee, the tips of your left toes are on the ground, but we're using the engagement that we just experimented with a moment ago with the straps, Supta Padangustasana, and using that to access more stability. And then as you're ready, come on back. Now let's go to that first side again. So the left leg and the right arm. And then from here, let's go ahead and bring the knee out to the side and the elbow out to the side. And now take that right hand and place it right at the base of the skull, just as a reminder to keep that neck nice and long. Because as the spine remains nice and long, you will have more stability. And then from here, let's lubricate the hip and the left hip and the right shoulder a little bit with small circles. You can't quite see what I'm doing with on my right side on the elbow, but I'm just bringing circles like I am with the knee to lubricate that area. And then extending the arm and the leg, really extending it. Remember that strap up against the ball of the foot and against the calf. Use that in your imagination and then bring it back. And now let's play with the other side. So reaching out through the right leg and the left arm. And then here again, bringing the knee and the elbow to the side. You just, of course, go as high as it's available to you, but do engage the muscles. And then bring your hand to the base of the skull, here again as a reminder. And then you're encouraging that humerus bone, the bone of the upper arm, and the femur bone, the bone of your thigh, to release out of the shoulder and the pelvis, so that any tight gripping that may be there can be released. And then as you're ready, extend the arm and the leg and back down. And now here, let's take a little pause to come into a variation of downward facing dog by taking the knees quite wide as your blanket is, so wider than the mat. And then reaching the arms out in front. And then decompressing the spine by engaging through the legs, really engaging through the legs, engaging through the hips. And then with the arms, like you are pressing down into the hands so as to encourage the torso to move forward, forward, forward. So I have my forehead on the ground and I am pushing the skin of my forehead down towards the nose ridge. And then as you're ready, come on back. So the kneeling again, as before, directly below the hips. All right, so here again, let's extend the right arm out and the left leg back. Let's bring them out to the side, placing the hand at the base of the skull. And then small little circles. Femur bone releasing out of the pelvis. Humerus bone releasing out of the shoulder, socket. And then from here, reach that left leg up, left foot up towards the sky, and take your right hand to the base of the spine, right at the area of the sacrum. And then here, let's begin to open the front body a little. And lift that left foot up a little bit higher. For some of you, if you reach that right arm back and you pull that left foot in a little, there will be access and a way to grab onto the foot so that you can then expand from there. It's not necessary, absolutely not necessary, but again, it's another way to connect with earth element, right? These binds provide us with the opportunity to then open further. But wherever you may be, the key here is to, again, find stability. So the gaze being down and in one point will assist with stability. And to expand from within that bind. Here in this case is the hand to the foot, but it doesn't need to be. You could just be your hand at the sacrum and that leg lifting up, the shoulders broadening, and you're reaching up through the torso. And then as you're ready, extend the leg as you did before and the arm. And back down. And the second side, reaching back through the right leg this time and the left arm. Again, remember the top of the thigh, really engaging. This will support you, will keep the hips aligned. And then bending the arm and the leg. Hand to the base of the skull to support the head, to remind you to do so. A few little circles. It's like you're inviting that upper arm to let go a little of the shoulder. You're inviting that top thigh to let go a little bit of the hip. And then as you're ready, bring that right arm back into this reaching, extending, opening, while still finding your center and being balanced. And then bending the leg, bring the hand to the base of the spine. And then here, you're either placing that foot in the direction of the ceiling, like you're stamping on it, especially from the inner part of the foot, or you're catching the inside of the ankle with your left hand. Shoulders are broad, pressing down through your base. So in this case, if you have the hand there, as you're pushing up against the hand, to then lengthen from the base of the pelvic floor, up, out. Shoulders are broad. You're not pushing into anything. You're just finding that stability so that there's space, or so that there's a sense of safety from which you can bloom. Remember the hand in the base of the skull. Keep that nice and long. And then again, extend out. And in. And so one more. Let's go ahead and do that dog pose. Extend those knees out wide. And this time, you may choose to use the block on the forehead. And again, you may start here, and then as your torso moves forward, you end up here. Okay? So, the legs are strong, the hips are moving back. Stretch those arms out. So it's a downward facing dog. It's an active pose. And the purpose is to decompress your spine. So, strong legs, hips moving back. The arms are out, nicely plugged in. And from the hands, you press down towards those shoulders. Shoulders move back towards the pockets of your pants, if you had pockets back there. And then from the low belly, you're lengthening forward. And that's how what was before on the top, on just the upper edge of your forehead, moves down towards the nose ridge. Breathe. And then as you're ready, bend those arms. And knees come back in. So now we're going to get to move into that beautiful twist. And we're going to do it from a kneeling position so that we can experience it more fully. Yeah? So, again, as we did before, we'll extend the left leg back, the right arm forward. Bring them out to the side. Hand, a few little circles, why not? And then bringing the leg back, bend. Take that slight back bend here again by anchoring through the legs and lifting up from the base of the spine, opening to the shoulders. And then reaching the leg and the arm forward. And then bringing the arm down for a moment. And now here, that right hand can again go to the lumbar as you rotate. Or maybe it goes all the way up. If you have that chair back behind you, it's kind of a lovely addition, although not necessary. And then inhale your way back in. And just for a little counter stretch here, take that left leg, move it forward towards the left hand. And now take the left arm up. So this is more like a Pavrita Trikonasana, yeah? Where both legs are down, but you're doing the rotation. And slowly back. Let's go for the other side. All right. So this time, right leg reaches back, left arm reaches forward. They both come out to the side. Maybe a few little circular motions. Bring that leg back. Take the hand to the sacrum or catch the foot, whichever one is best. And again, looking to open the front body. More than open the front body, consider extending the spine. Extending the spine. Where is there ground for you from which to extend? That's the gift of the earth element. And then from there, reach back out again. Again, if you have the chair, how lovely. In any case, engage the top muscles of your thigh. That will help. And then that left hand, you can bring it down here and just experiment with the idea that you're going to be rotating to the left, okay? And then that left arm can assist you actually quite a bit by coming right to the base of the spine in this way, or maybe even this way. Breathing. So it's like there's so many considerations here. But the most important one is to stay centered in your breath. That has a grounding force. To use the tools of stability that you've been experimenting with as you revolve. And then come on back. And so here too, we'll do a little counter stretch where the right knee comes forward towards that left hand. And the left arm stays down, and then the right arm can again reach to the area of the sacrum or come all the way up. You're not pushing or forcing for anything, you're just allowing. And then back to center. And so one more time, that downward facing dog shape, where the knees come out super wide, where the legs stay back, but this time, maybe we use the blocks under the hands to give us even more of a chance to extend out in a way that feels stable. So we have to use more musculature here. The arms extending out from the side body. The abdomen lengthening out. And the hips moving back. Torso lengthening forward, especially from the low belly. And then as you're ready, bend one elbow down to the ground and then the other. And slowly, gradually, find your way back in. So now you get to repeat this sequence. So when we do something a second time, the body has a chance to to receive it more deeply, right? The first time is like we're trying just to figure out what comes next, like going to a place we've never been to before. It's like, and then the second time, you know your way. So for the second time, I'm going to invite you to use a chair if you have one.